What's going on? My name is Andre, and this is Andre Alfonso Music. We're gonna figure out what we need for, how do we buy a beginning? What's going on? My name is Andre, and this is how to buy a beginning trumpet. Things you want to look for when you're buying a beginning instrument is you want to make sure you're buying from a reputable source. That's why it's great to come into a small music store in your hometown or go online to andrealfonsomusic.com and give us a call because we can help recommend you an instrument for a beginner, intermediate, advanced, and get that sent out to you as well as give you any support that you need. So visit our website, it's in the description. But getting into this is there's three categories of instruments. You can get a new instrument, a used instrument, or my favorite, the rent to own. And I like the rent to own at the end. We'll talk about that, why. But let's start with the first two. You can always buy new, and sometimes that's really a fun option because you usually get a nice shiny instrument, a new case, everything matches, and it's nice to not have an instrument that somebody else has played on before. Especially when it's a wind instrument, it's your first time. It can be a really good motivator. They're just quality instruments. I think the standard of student instruments now, when you buy from a reputable source, is much higher than it has been. But then again, you need to check with your source and where you're purchasing from. I think if you're going to be buying new, you need to stay away from Amazon. You need to stay away from any store that sells anything other than musical instruments because you're not going to get product support when you need it the most. And when you need it the most is when your student is sitting in band and all of a sudden a music stand falls on the bell, something gets stuck in the pad and you need it repaired and fixed. So you want to be able to contact a music store about those things. You don't necessarily want to buy something used from Amazon, and they're not going to be able to give you that same product support or warranty information for that matter. So buying new is great, but do it from a music store. Buying used. Used is great as well because if you are a budget-minded shopper, you're going to find something that's going to be in your budget. Sometimes used instruments can be used student models, which are very affordable, often have some cosmetic issues, such as some dents, dings, some scrapes, you're losing lacquer, so they don't look as good as a new instrument. However, the price tag might be hundreds of dollars less than buying new. So while you can get a great instrument at a lower price, there are some differences in the look. As far as the sound and the playability goes, any instrument that comes in here to our shop, we make sure that it plays as well as possible and that they're in excellent condition for beginning band or any player that picks up one of the instruments off of our wall. So you can rest assured if you buy new or used from a music store that's reputable, that cleans and maintains their instruments, that it's going to be a great choice as well. Again, you don't get the benefits of having new gear that might be evident in a new band, new trumpet. This one you get to put the dings in yourself. All right, let's go into the last part, the rent to own option. So rent to own is interesting because rent to own offers you a new instrument, but often multiple tiers. So rent to own at the highest level typically will let you buy an instrument and pay through financing the rent to own over a specific term, so 24, 36, 48 months. We do a 36-month term at the shop, and it keeps the monthly payments really affordable. There's also additional coverage that you can buy. A lot of music stores have this. It's LDR, loss damage repair. And so as long as you are doing your due diligence and making sure that your instrument is not a victim of negligence by yourself or others, leaving it outside unattended where somebody can take it. If somebody was to damage an instrument that has an LDR policy through any instance, or even if it was stolen or destroyed, if there's a police report, they can get replaced for the full amount that you paid for it. So it'll get replaced and you'll end up with a new horn again. So I really highly recommend that if that happens to you. There's often, as long as you've got the documentation, there's really no questions asked. They'll get you a new horn. We'll do the same here too. So reach out to us about our LDR anytime you do a rental. Next, there's also some other tiers. There's sometimes used tiers, which are the instruments that went out new and then somebody didn't finish their contract because their kid quit band, they changed instruments, or well, I guess those are the really the only two options that would be why we would have one of these things back. So there are options for you to get that same new trumpet, maybe with some signs of use on it, at a much better price than what we would sell it for new. So all of these are great options. Now, you want to make sure, like I said, you have quality and maintenance in mind. If you're not buying an instrument that's worth repairing, you're going to end up paying more in repair costs than what the instrument is worth. And what I mean by that is that if you buy an instrument from Amazon or one of these online companies like Temu or Alibaba Express, you're going to get something that looks like an instrument-shaped object, and it's going to cost maybe $100, $200. And the moment you take it into a repair shop, they will give it back to you and they will say, we don't work on this instrument because the price of materials or labor is going to be more than what this thing is worth. It's actually harder to repair one of those instruments because they're so cheap. The metal dents and tears faster if you try to do any dent work to it. The screws don't thread very well. A lot of the parts are just made so poorly that if you put a really good part in it, it's not going to fit or it's just not going to function. So I really would recommend avoiding at all costs an instrument on Amazon. At that price, I would say go used. And you could check out our stuff in person here. Our used instruments start at that $200 price mark. And we can often give you some other incentives and specials in store with our used instruments. Depends on what we have. Sometimes we don't have anything in that range. Sometimes we do have things that come in that just, they look a little funky, but they will play just fine and are maintained by our staff. Okay, let's just talk about case and accessories. So one of the accessories that you definitely want is one that was actually just invented not too long ago. This is the thumb gummy. The thumb gummy goes onto your trumpet on the lead pipe, and I love it because it's kind of fun to just hold on to, and your thumb goes into here so that you play with a consistent hand position every time. That's his slogan. So the inventor, Jeff, I just want to give you a shout out. Thanks for these. These are available on our website as well. You can get these when you rent your instrument. You keep it. It's for you. That's what I would recommend if you're just starting so your hand doesn't slip all over. If you're a brass player, you're also going to want to grab a cleaning kit. A cleaning kit is going to make sure that you can, play as free-blowing as possible through your trumpet, that there's no buildup inside. You're just going to take your trumpet to the bathtub and you're going to take it apart and use some dish soap and those brushes that come in the cleaning kit to maintain your instrument. We usually do that about once every 3 to 4 months with the horns that we play professionally on here, as often as you need. If you play often, you're going to need to do it more often. Now, the last thing you're going to need are going to be oil, and that's going to be like valve oil, as well as you're going to want tuning slide grease. We highly recommend lanolin, anhydrous lanolin. Shout out to Doc Lambrecht at Augustana College in Rock Island, because it is just a much better grease for the slides. It just doesn't eat away at the instrument like some others might. But there's plenty of great ones on the market. Just about anything will do. We sell synthetic with all of our blessing instruments. So they're here and they're great for your instrument and they work just fine. But if you get the chance, we also do that in the shop. We'll use anhydrous lanolin if you get your instrument serviced with us. And then lastly, the case. The case can often be the struggle point of many young musicians because the instruments are sometimes bigger than the young musician that is playing them. So you want to make sure that your child has a case that has a backpack strap or backpack straps. And that would be something like our lightweight Gator series that we have. These are excellent. I actually have one right here. These are great. They are an added cost, but you know what you're getting is you're getting an instrument case that can go on the back of a student that rides their bike to school, as well as they can hold this while they're carrying their backpack, their book bag. And depending on which bag you get, if you wanted to get a different bag that has a little bit more space for a tablet or a computer, we can also get something like that special ordered in as well. That's also going to have backpack straps. So just reach out to us. We want to make sure you have the solution that works for your back to school season this year. And all of those things are going to be super important. One last thing, bonus tip, your mouthpiece. This doesn't have a mouthpiece on it. When you get an instrument from us, we make sure it comes with a mouthpiece. They typically come with a 7C mouthpiece. And when you start to progress and advance, you're going to want to buy more mouthpieces to expand the cup size, to help with your range and your tone production. That's the most important thing about your tone on the trumpet. It starts with your mouthpiece. So go online to andrealfonsomusic.com to find all of our mouthpieces that we have available, and they ship out pretty quick. And if you order over $100 worth of products, it's free shipping to you anywhere continental US. Right now, we're only doing that for September 2025 into October 2025. But who knows, that deal might be up online as well. So thanks for checking us out. These are all the things that you need for a beginning trumpet player. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. We'll link it to our website, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks.